Hi, it's November Fox 13. I'm sure you've seen me have a meltdown on camera when people try to explain certain things to me, but Catty, or Noir, the coach, was kind enough to send me a reminder of how to play support in text format and what to work on, which made things a ton easier. So, doing my homework, I'll try to obey the tradition of my replays by showing 2 winning matches and a losing one, just to keep things relatively balanced. Okay, I'll just show the preview projector on my screen. There we go. Okay, you might not be able to hear sound because I'm basically transmitting this through a screen sharing program on my tablet, which I'm now playing on. So anyway, I'll just open up my replays. My beloved coon in the background there. Okay. Where's my replays again? Wait, it should be in here. Replay. Alright, first one is for Seth, and this is actually a losing match, so I will... This is a losing match, but I choose to play Mean Look and Snarl rather than Wish, and change my hood for a focus sash. So instead of running Max Wish Umbie, I'm now running Mean Look Snarl, and it does a lot of help with hindrances. I learned that trick in a match I lost. You just gotta time it right. So anyway, keep in mind this is a solo queue, so at the moment I'm focusing more on obeying the rules than actually winning by acting like it's actually a 5-stack. As much as I can anyway, or it will allow me to. I'm confronting the farm and trying to be a tank and taking the hits. As you can imagine, I should have been in front of the Pikachu, but I dragged them round back, so it still served purpose. Okay. Ordering the Scyther to retreat. Up there. Zoe's in the lane. Interesting choice. But then again, there's a Scyther and they're playing the mods they're comfortable with, so that makes sense. Buzz comes down, I stay on pad. Yeah, this might have been silly of me, but I needed my level for the bees. But I spent too long. So that was a flub. I couldn't defend the buzz wall. We lost the bees. I should have prioritized the bees, and I was mad at myself for that. Tried to get a kill on the squirrel. As you can imagine, big mistake. So I underestimated the timing. Should have gone with the buzz wall. Even though I was a V. Keeping an eye on top lane to see how they're doing. Cypher and Chew. At the moment, I'm dealing with being pressured by... Yeah. Okay, Buzzwall's finally down here. I make sure that the actual Wartortle dies. I stay to help the Buzzwall, but I stay too long. And Armorrouge runs me down. Twice too. Nope, I managed to escape back to pad. Zorak's now leveled in jungle. I pested the bee, but I try not to solo farm. Wait for the buzzwall. Buzzwall comes in and he takes the other farm, and at that point I just run back. Then Buzzwall goes in and I have to support. As you can imagine, doesn't go well. Should have stayed back, but there you go. I move with the Buzzwall for top objective because Regieleki's top. And I move out front the Regieleki to try and block. Move back when I realise a Charizard's there and see if I can get the opportunity. Unfortunately, I die. But you can see the hindrance resistance walks right through the Ninetales. So it works on Ninetales as well. It just doesn't work when you're being hindered from multiple sources at once. Hindrance resistance can be overwhelmed if you're hit by multiple sources, I think. But at the moment, it allowed me to just walk straight through the 9. Snarl again, it resists the Blastoise ult. Snarl again, Ninetales goes down. Follow with the Pikachu, mean looking so he can't get away. Pikachu takes it. Snarl is just as useful as Wish if they're running a hindrance comp. This is, I think, why my opponent was running Umbie when they were running Machamp. It's really, really useful. Snarl, anti-hindrance, mean looks for the stop, and the Wish, of course, is a really strong heal as well. So, and the only thing you have to change on my build is Hood for Sash. So, yeah. Of course, I don't get any stacks because I'm running the Max Wish Umbie build, then swapping the Hood for the Sash. So I actually have an attack weight on there to try and boost the Hood when I'm using Wish. And I just swapped it for the Sash. And before I'm asked, I got the build from Unite DB, so apparently the attack weight stacks for the Hood and that boosts the Wish. So I swap it for a Sash because I'm not using Wish right now. I'm purely just using Snarl for tank hindrances. As you can imagine, I sit there and I keep the Zard busy. Like I'm playing like an actual defender, but I am forgetting my back farm, but that's okay. And as I said, just trying to avoid solo farming with death and support. So I was trying to overlevel. I jump in, defend as best as I can. I'm probably not high enough level, but if I can corner the Zard and get it killed, that's a good thing. If not, there we go. Somebody comes in. Thank God. That is one tough umbie. Gingerbread catches surfing Blastoise. This is where I counter the Machamp. He can't do anything. My hindrance resistance was still up. So I'm teasing the Machamp and the Ninetales. Even tank is fucking Sorry, I always swore there, like, I should not be able to tank his Unite, so I don't know what items he's got, but... Like, I just took that straight to the face and it did nothing. Okay, I'm sitting and waiting to see if they're going to come back for the objective. Give it a tap. Okay, yeah. I gave it a tap and I ran back when I realised what the timer said. And I position. To stop the Blastoise. He doesn't get to surf in. At the same time, I drag him towards and the fight just doesn't go our way. Like, I walk onto the pad, or walk onto the Groudon, try to defend it, but my allies are on the outside and it's just not enough. Ninetales manages to clinch it with the Unite. As you can imagine, it's over. But I can dare say I did my best and played as an actual defense as well as a support. Just my messing with the 9 and the Machamp. Now I go to a winning match with Hoopa, because that was something else I was supposed to practice. Now in this match I completely forget to use the Hyper Hole for transporting between goal zones and actually physically rotate, but I do remember to use its healing and it effectively carries the match. Because, of course, I saw the Absol, I saw the Mimikyu, and I thought, yeah, they're gonna want the Hyper Hole. At the same time, it was some mon I needed to practice because I made the wrong choice. I chose the trick over the Hyper Hole because I got the wrong portal. I got the Phantom Force, but didn't choose the Hyperspace Hole, so that was an error on my part. I'm teasing the Eevee and keeping it distracted. The Mimikyu has gone in, so I hinder and try to bottle lock, but the Eevee manages to hit it with sure hit. I end up leaving my enemy the berry, which is dumb. But at the same time, Absol just times his coming perfectly. Like, you know, that is what a good Absol should do. He doesn't have the ability to get out, so he waited for him to int onto the goal zone and just came in for breakfast. That was lovely. I should probably have the names turned off, but I try to avoid guiding people for idling early game because that's a disconnect. You know, I learned the difference there when it happened to me once. But if someone does something well, I like to point it out. And as I said, that Absol just chose the perfect time to gank. I do go away from the Mimi. I try to reposition so I can block and hyperspace hole on them. But again, I screw that up a little bit. Because I wanted to see if I could catch the Espeon out and stun them and push them back. But again, Absol comes in when they int onto the goal zone, and Absol is just dedicating themselves to that. That seems to be how they're playing their Absol. They're just waiting for them to int the goal zone first and then hit them, which makes sense. Absol has a lot of damage but no escape. If they int a goal zone and they stay hidden, that's probably the best way to do it. Poke the Espeon. Again, I should be in front, but because I'm playing a Hoopa, I choose to prioritize stunning and pulling them away from the target. Not smart, but my opponents aren't smart. Again, Give my Mimi and my Absol the portal. They port straight back. Chime in with the hyperspace hole, stun them, push them back, give them Mimi the hole. I die in the process. Mimi comes back and hits them from behind. And he gets both kills. Lovely. At that point, I rotate down to the bottom. But I forget hyperspace hole exists, and that was a massive screw up. Like, I should have put the hyperspace hole down, but I left me up there. And then I die because I go too far in without thinking. But as you can see, my allies have done so well out of the hyperspace hole, and the extra kills both the Soul and the Mimikyu got, that my opponents are just not winning the level game at the moment. Push them away. Stay slightly behind the tank, but the tank's low HP. I put a hyperspace hole out in front, they both port. And then the Zapdos comes back in, but the Glaceon comes to intercept. Luckily, the Mimikyu up top got the objective, but I die sadly before the Zapdos can score, and the Zapdos goes down. Which is a shame. I decide whether or not I want to port back, and I do, because objective is spawning down bot. So I position towards the Zapdos. The Absol sits in the grass and then assassinates. I come in for the Absol, put the portal down behind, but the Absol wants to just run into the jungle anyway and invade. I focus the Crossle. I try to intercept the Glaceon, but this doesn't go well. I port myself, and I manage to get away. I then port back, I think. Nope. No, I have to use the pad. I realise that there's no way... Yeah, okay. I wait with the Mimikyu, but then I just draw back and I order a retreat, because we want them to come onto the goal zone, ideally. I push the Lecky to one side, and then I decide to ult against the Lecky and lead to the goal zone. I probably shouldn't have thrown out all those moves, but... Yeah, I push and the Absol doesn't get what he wants, but he ends up getting a kill on the Glaceon instead. So I guess I must have stunned the Glaceon on the way. I pop out. Kill it back. Pop behind. Offer up a portal, but not necessary. Offer up a portal for the Slowbro, I think. Yep, I port the Slowbro, and then I run away on low HP, and all I got was AOS points out of that, and that's upsetting. I stick around purely to help the Slowbro, and die. But the Mimi takes the opportunity against the Espeon. I come in, take a look around, but my allies are all in different places. So as you can imagine, I'm hiding up here when I realise that there's not much chance we're going to get the objective by this point. The Absol is just cleaning up. And that's when I choose to ult. Everyone comes in. And it's just a wipeout. And there you have it. So there you go. 3 replays. Few mistakes here and there, a little bit of human error, but mostly an improvement. Now I just have to deal with a lot of noise in the comms and try to actually remember what I'm supposed to do. Perhaps slow. I like things when they're slowed down a bit, but oh boy. There you go. My 3 replays. 2 win, 1 lose, as is per tradition on my rather terrible excuse for a channel. Anyway, November Fox 13 for now. If you've wondered where I've been so often and why I don't upload much, well, it's because I'm focusing a lot on Unite. Anyway, November Fox 13 signing out.